Hey everyone, Charnie here with Great Expectations Realty. I am here to bring you another video, but before I say anything, please like my video and subscribe to my channel because it would help to encourage me to bring more videos because sometimes I slack. But if I see that more of you who's watching me are subscribing to my channel, trust me, I'm going to make an effort to do more videos more often. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about how I became a full-time realtor and how my first year was, because believe it or not, this year, 2022, is my second year in real estate. A lot of times my clients tell me that there is no way you can't tell if I was a new agent last year. I closed so many deals and I got a lot of prizes and recognitions. Let's just say that. And I am so grateful to God and to my clients that helped me get to where I am today. So I wanted to share my experience and how I got started with new agents, because I have a few friends that have taken the real estate license course, and some of them have passed the licensing test for the state, and I wanted to share. I feel like there is enough out there for all of us, and why not share, right? So stay tuned, and I will come back in a minute with more of how I was for my first year. All right, so thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for liking this video as well. So how did I become a full-time real estate agent? It's a long story. I always wanted to know, be in real estate. I love real estate. Growing up in Haiti, my mom was a landlord. She was responsible sometimes for other family members' houses that were rentals. So I was exposed to that. So it was always something that I liked. But being that since I came to this country, I always had a full-time job. I was always working. It was very scary for me to just take the leap of faith. I just didn't have the faith to do that. But in 2020, I had a job. My background is in accounting. I have a degree and everything. I graduated and all of that. And I had a job in the finance department for a large company in Orlando, which is where I was living. And I started having some issues. First, the manager who hired me, he left the company, so they transferred me to a new manager. And not just me, they transferred about 4 of us to a new manager. And from the time the 4 of us transferred to that new manager, we started having a lot of issues. We went from being like exemplary employees to being really harassed by the new manager. She just didn't like us. I don't know what it was, but she didn't like us at all. That's all I can say. And in the middle of that, even though I was like a good employee, do my job, I go to work, sometimes we had a lot of issues because I work for like the toll system for Florida, and I had to go to work sometimes on a Sunday to help because we were transitioning. It was a lot. And in the middle of that, I was battling, I have a chronic issue that give me a lot of pain, and wait for me to get pain relief is to have surgery. Maybe I'll create another channel to talk about my journey with that, but it's not about that in this video. So I ended up having surgery, and then I was out on FMLA for about 2 months. And when I came back, COVID wasn't a thing yet. And when I came back, she was like, she wants to fire me, and there was no real reason she wanted to fire me. And the fact that I just came back from FMLA, HR advised her that that wasn't right. It would look like retaliation, and if I sue, I would win. So she couldn't really fire me. And HR offered me to, the HR guy, the HR director, even offered me to use his own network to find me another job, because he's like, this is pure harassment. but she had big people after, like behind her and stuff like that. So HR felt like he couldn't really fight her for me. Oh, you know, and I don't believe that HR fight for us anyway, but that's another subject. So during all of that, I refused to quit. I say, you know what, if you want me out of the company, you have to fire me. So when COVID came, the out of the four of us, she let go of three of us. So the only one person she kept was a Hispanic person like her, and then all the three of us were let go. And there was really nothing we could do about it because it was due to COVID. So I just took it, you know. And at that time I already had the course for real estate. I started to study, but because I had a full-time job, very demanding job, I really didn't have time to study. So when she let me go, I said, well, I wanted to do this. I bought the class just because, you know, I don't know, something pushed me to buy it. And now I'm like, well, now I have time. I have real time to focus on this class. I have nothing to lose. At that point, she let me go. So unemployment kicked in. Then it was due to COVID, and you know the rest, all the incentives they were giving for COVID. So at that time, you know what, I had time to learn something new. There was nobody hiring, so I had to sit home and wait. So in the meantime, I studied, I did the class, I put myself really into it, and then I took the licensing test and I passed it. I couldn't believe it. But because I lost my job in Orlando, that gave me the opportunity to really move into Ocala, which wasn't my plan. So I moved to Ocala and I said, you know, I have nothing to lose but to give this real estate thing a try. So here I am in a new area, new place. I do not know anyone here, and I'm going to start selling real estate. So I had a lot of fears. I had a lot of worries that I wasn't going to succeed, because it's like a small town vibe, even though the county is very big. I was worried about, can I make it when people hear my accent and all of that. I was worried about a bunch of stuff that I shouldn't have worried about to begin with. But after I passed the test, I said, you know, let me interview some brokerages, because, you know, as a new agent, you're the one interviewing the broker, not the other way around. And I took that as my advantage. And the broker I chose directly contributed to my success today. And I'll explain why. So let me show you guys. This year I received this certificate from the Ocala Marion County Realtor Association as a Rookie of the Year. And they usually give this to people who sell $1 million or more in volume of real estate. So in their first year. So in my first year, I sold a lot more than $1 million in real estate, like volume. I didn't make 1 million, but in volume I sold for way over that. And let's say if I was in a bigger market, let's say Orlando or so, I could have doubled that number, because houses over there, the prices are higher. So I was very happy. It was a pleasant surprise. Usually they have a whole ceremony for this, but because of COVID they didn't, so they just called me to just pick up my prize. So I love it. And then my broker also gave me this year as a rising star. So it was really nice, and I won top producer a couple of times, even though I have 1 cup, but I think I won like 2 of them, and or 3, I don't know. But yeah, it's been nice. So like I said, choosing my broker directly impacted how I did as a new agent. So just as all new agents, I went to the big brokerages. I sat down with them to hear what they have to offer me. And like I said, my background is in accounting, and when they told me the numbers, they didn't make sense to me. some of them, you know, like that big brokerage, they say everybody who's new has to join that brokerage. I sat down with them. I'm not gonna say names, but when I see all of the numbers, I was like, no, that's like I'm working for free. I'm giving all my money to the broker. And they had like crazy fees and all of that, so that didn't work out for me. However, I was going to sign up with them because everyone said this is how it is. It's like a rite of passage. If you're new and you really want to learn, that's the brokerage to join. And then I had a few people reach out to me when they heard that I passed my licensing test. People I didn't even know, friends of friends, and they're like, oh, you know, let me refer you. I didn't know then that you actually get paid to refer new agents in that bigger brokerage. But anyway, when I sat down, it didn't make sense for me. I ended up saying, you know what? Let me go and interview a few more smaller brokerages and see what they have to offer. A friend of mine who also did his licensing around the same time, he said, listen, believe me, keep looking, because he signed up with them and it wasn't a good experience. So I was like, okay. So I went and I interviewed two smaller brokerages, and Great Expectations was one of them. And at that time, you know, it's more like smaller. It feels like boutique. It doesn't feel like a big, like Walmart, you know. It felt like something smaller and more like, you know, when you walk into a boutique, that's what it felt like. So it was between Great Expectations Realty and another smaller brokerage, but I didn't like the way the broker just passed me. I was sitting there and I was invisible to her. She didn't address, she didn't even say hi. And I was there to choose them as a brokerage. So when she did that, that really, I wasn't meeting with her. I was meeting like with her assistant or something, who was telling me about all the things they were doing, they were revamping or whatever. And she just like passed me like I didn't exist. So when I weighed the two, I prayed about it, because I do believe in that. Before I make my decision, I had to pray about it. And it was clear for me that Great Expectations Realty was the one that I wanted. And I am so happy that I chose Great Expectations Realty. Andrea has been superb in supporting me and any other agents that come through the door. From the day she interviews you, she tells you what you should expect, what is expected. She's very fair, and it didn't feel like I would do all the work and then just hand all the money to the broker. She's very fair, and she's like very available to answer your questions. And then we do have a group chat where if any agent has a question, we help each other. It's amazing. So that directly contributed to how I did in my first year as an agent, and to how I received this award as a Rookie of the Year from the association. It's been great. She doesn't nickel and dime you as an agent. She doesn't charge you for sitting on the desk or printing something. And as a result, we are like a family, and we don't waste. We use with caution, you know what I mean? So compared to other brokerages where they charge you, if you print anything, they charge you like 30 cents for this page, 10 cents for that page. It's a lot of stuff. I don't like that. So I'm very happy where I am. So this really contributed to my success today. The other thing, I listened to my broker. I was new. I didn't know a whole lot of things besides what I learned in school, which is like not really practice, you're in school. But also I'm very like smart, I would say. Yeah, I think I can say that about myself. And I learn very fast. So if you tell me something, I'm going to figure it out. You know what I mean? And I love to watch other videos of other agents that have been doing this before me, and I listen to counsel. So for example, one of the first things that Andrea told me, she's like, you have to do videos, you have to do YouTube. I didn't want to do it because I don't have an accent. That's a hang up for me. Now I'm more accepting of it, but yeah, it is a hang up for me. I'm very aware of the fact that I have an accent. So I didn't really want to do videos, but then once I started, I see that it worked for me. People loved watching me. So now I don't have an issue at all. I just do videos and people call me. I generate my own leads and it's been fantastic. Yeah, another thing too, when you choose a broker, choose a broker that also give you leads where they're not gonna charge you an arm and a leg for the leads that they provide to you, but also one that will help you after you get the leads as a new agent. But don't rely so much on the broker to give you leads that you don't try to generate your own. So you should always try to generate your own. And that's what I did, and it has worked for me fantastic. So I listened to my broker and I was careful on which brokerage I signed up with because that was very important. And I learned my market. I learned what was available on the market, how the market was changing. I would wake up, even like in the beginning when I didn't have anything to do, I would do things for other agents in the brokerage. Agents that had listings, they wanted to do open houses. I would do the open houses for them, and I put my all into it. I did it like it was my own listing. I didn't do like, oh, I'm just doing somebody a favor. No, I put my all into it. I set up the open house. But anybody who walked through the door during that open house, they were my lead to take for free. It wasn't like they were not the lead of that agent I was helping. So it was good, even though they didn't give me money and say, hey, here is money to do this open house for me. The leads that I got from in the beginning, they helped me starting to have my own like lead base, you know. And I did that. I did a lot of open houses for Andrea, for other brokers in the brokerage. And then also I learned my market. And when Andrea told me things like, if you don't have anything to do, sit and read the whole contract, learn it, because once you start being busy, you will wish you knew the contract. And boy, was she right. I did exactly what she told me. I sat down, I read the contract, I reread the contract, I read it again. Until now, if I'm doing a contract for a buyer, I know exactly what's going to come up. I know exactly where to find something. And if I miss a box, I remember that I didn't do that box because I know the contract that well in my head. It doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes sometimes, but yeah. So that's important. I listened to my broker. I learned the things that she told me to learn. I learned them. And then I also I was out there. I put myself out there. I went and did I did video tours. I went to new builders. I introduced myself, give them my card. You know, I built a relationship with those builders. And by the time I had buyers, they already knew who I was, even though I didn't even do a deal with them yet. And I was doing videos and putting their own products out there. People were calling me about their products. So by the time I was in for about I had my first closing literally 2 months after I got my license. I remember it, my contract offer was accepted on Christmas Day and then the closing was in January, early January. So it was like amazing. It was like the best feeling ever. And then after that, of course, I was worried about, what if I don't have another listing? What am I going to do? But you know what? People keep calling, they keep calling, and then I keep making offers. The market was hot and my offers keep getting accepted. I walk into the builders, new builders with clients, and they go under contract. It was great. So I've been enjoying being a real estate agent. And since then, since last year, I haven't looked for another job. Of course, every now and then I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God, what if I don't have a closing this month? What am I going to do to pay my bills? But it hasn't happened yet, even though it's a fear of mine. And I have to, trust that God is always taking care of me because I am a believer. So he has done just that. And, I have generated my own leads. I go on floor time. Don't listen to people that tell you don't have to go to the office. Get up, dress up, go to the office. Even if you're the only agent at that office, if somebody just walk in, you'll get that lead. If somebody calls, you'll get that lead. So I get up, I dress up, I go to the office. And because we are in a smaller community, smaller vibe, we do a lot of events, and I help like any way that I can. I attend, I stand around and help in any way that I can. So just be out there, just be present, and then learn your stuff, learn your craft. I really believe in that. Whatever I'm doing, I don't do it halfway. I go all in and I go with passion. And if you do that, you will see the results of what you put out, you will get back. So if you do it with passion, do it with your all, and do what you're supposed to do, I believe you will see the results. They may not be instant, because that's the thing with real estate. The result of what you do is not instant. Sometimes it takes some time. Some videos I made last year, right now I have a lot of people calling me about those videos. And even if that house that I put out there is no longer available, I can tell them, hey, I can find you a similar house, you know. So like the efforts that I put out last year, they are paying off now. So it's not like a microwave type of thing. You just stick it in and press a button and it happens. You put the work and then you see the results. Anyway, that's all I had for you, and I hope that helps. And if you know anyone who needs anything here in Ocala, feel free to reach out to me. My information is always in the description of the video, and I will be more than happy to help. Again, like my video, subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.